Okay, have a listen to these words and see if you can identify the meaning. They're all verbs, so they're all to do something, to play, to whatever it might be. So have a listen. Cancelar, filmar, visitar, robar. And they're all very guessable. Cancelar, to cancel. Filmar, to film or to video. Visitar, to visit. Robar, to rob, also used for to steal. Robar. And there are a lot of words, a lot of verbs like this in Spanish, where you just have the English word and you add AR. So to cancel, and you put on AR and you have cancelar. To film, and add on AR and you have filmar. This way we can expand our vocabulary very, very quickly. So how would you say, for example, well, let's see. You can either write this down or say it out loud. How would you say to confirm in Spanish? To confirm, for example, a booking. How would you say that? Confirmar. Confirmar. How would you say to edit? As in to edit something on the edit a document. What would that be? Editar. Editar. And how about to vomit? A very useful word. To vomit. How would you say that in Spanish? Vomitar. 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 So to be sick. And of course there are many, many other words like this we can use. Now if we want to say it in Spanish, it, the word is lo. L-O. Lo. Lo. And we just hook it or stick it onto the end of our verb, of our doing word. So to cancel it is cancelarlo. All one word. Cancelarlo. To cancel it. How would you say to visit it? To visit it. Visitarlo. Visitarlo. Notice the V is always pronounced like the letter B in Spanish. So visitar. Visitarlo. To visit it. How would you say to steal it? Or like to rob it. We would probably say to steal it. How would you say to steal it? Robarlo. Robarlo. And how would we say to import it? To import it. So it could be talking as a business or to import something onto your computer. How would we say to import it? Importarlo. Importarlo. So to import it, importarlo. Okay, if you want to say in Spanish, I could, or I was able to. In English, we can use both of those words as the same thing. I could or I was able to. In Spanish, that's pude. Pude. So, I was able to film, for example. I was able to film would be pude filmar. Pude filmar. I was able to reserve it. Pude reservarlo. To reserve it or to book it, reservarlo. So, pude reservarlo. I was able to book it. I was able to reserve it. And the beauty of learning pude is that if you're a beginner and you still haven't learnt the endings for the past tense, you could say, maybe you want to say, I booked it, but you don't know the past ending for reserve, reservar. You can say, I was able to book it, and you're communicating the same thing. So you can always substitute what you did for what you were able to do. And so if you're living in a Spanish-speaking country or just visiting one, you're able to communicate these things about the past while you're still in the process of learning. Okay, so pude reservarlo. I was able to reserve it. How would you say I was able to visit it? I was able to visit it. Might be a museum, whatever it might be. I was able to visit it. What would that be? Pude visitarlo. Pude visitarlo. How about I was able to edit it? A document, for example. I was able to edit it. What would that be? Pude editarlo. Pude editarlo. If you want to say that you didn't do something, or you couldn't do something, or you weren't able to do something, that negative, we just put no at the beginning. No. So how would you say I couldn't? What would that be? I couldn't. I wasn't able to. No pude. No pude. No pude. How would you say I wasn't able to, or I couldn't visit Spain? What would that be? I wasn't able to visit Spain. No pude visitar España. No pude visitar España. How would you say I wasn't able to cancel it? I couldn't cancel it. What would that be? No pude cancelarlo. No pude cancelarlo. How about, let's make a long one. How about I was able to import it, but I couldn't edit it. I was able to import it, but I couldn't edit it. And the word for but is pero. P-E-R-O. Pero. So I was able to import it, but I couldn't edit it. What would that be? Pude importarlo, pero no pude editarlo. Pude importarlo, pero no pude editarlo. Now in Spanish, whenever you want to say we do something, we did something, we will do something, the we always ends in mos. So the verb ending always ends in mos, M-O-S, mos. Now we know I could, or I was able to, is pude. So we could, we were able to, is going to have mos in it, and it's pudimos. Pudimos is we could, or we were able to. Pudimos. How would you say we were able to book it? We were able to book it. What would that be? Pudimos reservarlo. Pudimos reservarlo. How about we couldn't cancel it? What would that be? No pudimos cancelarlo. No pudimos cancelarlo. And how about we couldn't confirm it? We couldn't confirm it. What would that be? No pudimos confirmarlo. No pudimos confirmarlo. Okay, another very useful word or phrase like pude is to say I had to do something. So I couldn't do this because I had to. I had to. And in Spanish, had to, I had to, is tuve que. Tuve que. Tuve means I had. Tuve, I had. Tuve que, I had to. I had to. So if we want to say I had to cancel it, we would say tuve que cancelarlo. Tuve que cancelarlo. I had to cancel it. How would you say I had to steal it? I had to steal it. What would that be? Tuve que robarlo. Tuve que robarlo. How would you say, I had to visit Madrid? I had to visit Madrid. What would that be? Tuve que visitar Madrid. Tuve que visitar Madrid. I had to visit Madrid. The word for to do is hacer. Hacer. H-A-C-E-R. Hacer. To do. How would you say to do it? Hacerlo. Hacerlo. How about I had to do it? I had to do it. What would that be? Tuve que hacerlo. Tuve que hacerlo. I had to do it. And how would you say, I couldn't do it? I had to visit Madrid. I couldn't do it. I had to visit Madrid. What would that be? No pude hacerlo. Tuve que visitar Madrid. No pude hacerlo. Tuve que visitar Madrid.